are closed at 2 a.m. No partying goes on in the United States of America, for example, past 2 a.m. Here in Kenya, the youth who are supposed to be participating in economic activities, the people who the future of our country relies on, are busy partying, thinking of nothing beyond tomorrow than having a good time the next weekend. Mr. Speaker, if we continue like this, we are going to lose a whole generation. I have a personal experience where in the University of Nairobi, I met a very good friend who was in Alliance High School, Mr. Speaker. A very bright, beautiful friend of mine who was schooling with me at the University of Nairobi Law School. And Mr. Speaker, we were exposed to an environment where our parents are not in campus, so you had to make your choice, whether you want to drink and party nonstop. And Mr. Speaker, as we speak, we lost my friend some years back because, for me, Mr. Speaker, I had a doting father who kept checking on me my every step.
So, Senator Karen, just have your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I'm just trying to demonstrate the effects of
Senator Karen, just take your seat, please. Order, honorable senators. If I got you correctly, Senator Karen, Aluta means non-stop partying. Can that sum up the very long statement you're giving us? Aluta means, is it a concept?
Mr. Speaker, if you put it that way, if you say it's non-stop partying, someone might assume that this person is partying, normal partying hours, like they're partying till 6 a.m., going home and partying tomorrow.
Order, Senator Kenyo. Do you partake of these parties?
Mr. Speaker, there are notorious clubs, nightclubs, about 7 of them in Nairobi. I will take you round, Mr. Speaker, if you want, on Sunday morning.
Order, honorable senator.
On Sunday morning,
Order,
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable senators, can the senator
Mr. Speaker, on Sunday morning, as others are going to church.
Senator Karen, you can only take me around churches in Nairobi. Conclude.
But Mr. Speaker, as other people are going to church on Sunday morning, you will see another different type of church. And at some point, when they are very drunk, they will break into gospel song, and the DJ will lead them into a service and a mock service. And Mr. Speaker, when you see the videos that are coming from these parties, it is very sad because the age group, I would not be very concerned if it was Senator Mazayo involved in that. The age group is very worrying because these children, first of all, they don't have...
honorable senators.
They don't have a source of income. They live with their parents, so they don't have a source of income. So my worry is, and the case study that we should also carry, where is this money for non-stop partying coming from? It could be funded by the popular Wababas, taking advantage of our girls. Mr. Speaker, this trend...
Senator Karen, I think we've understood what you meant. Let's leave it at that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Hezena. Senator Hezena, proceed to make your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And this is a request for a statement on waste management in Samburu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the state of waste management in Samburu County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide an overview of the waste management infrastructure and systems currently in place within Samburu County, particularly in Maralal Town, highlighting any recent improvements. Secondly, provide details on the budgetary allocation for garbage collection and sewerage services for the county for the financial year 2023-2024 and table the itemized list of all payments made so far to each garbage collector and sewerage service provider. And thirdly, elaborate on any short and long-term initiatives or collaborations within the relevant stakeholders aimed at promoting waste reduction, recycling, and community engagement to enhance overall cleanliness and sanitation within the county. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Miraj.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the unsafe measures and protocols by employees of the County Government of Mombasa responding to flood disaster in the county. In the statement, the committee should state the numbers of persons engaged by the County Government of Mombasa to unclog stormwater drainage systems in the county to mitigate against floods. Further stating whether the said individuals are employees or volunteers of the county government, giving their terms of employment. 2, provide the number of persons involved in the unclogging of water storm drainages in Mombasa County who lost their lives and ones injured during the exercise. 3, state whether the individuals involved in the rescue of floods victims had prior trainings and skills, safety equipment and tools, and confirm if there were lapses in adhering to safety standards leading to loss of lives. And 4, outline the emergency interventions put in place to promote the welfare and safety of county employees involved in disasters responses, including medical care for the injured and compensation plans for families of disaster response personnel who die in the line of duty. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Lomenan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads and Transportation regarding the need for construction of feeder roads in the boundary-prone North Rift counties of Turkana, Samburu, Baringo, and West Pokot, with a view to opening up the area and boosting security operations. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state the plans the government has, if any, to construct and grade the following rural access feeder roads in the region. Specifically, A, Marigat, Kapedo, Lomelo, Napetom, Lokori, Lokwamosing, Nakukulas, Lokicher Road. B, Lomelo, Nadome, Nilukia, Kamuge, Lokori Road. And C, Lokori Kidewa, Parigati, Baragoi Road, all in Suguta Sub-County, Turkana East Constituency. A, Kakongo, Lokwamosing Road. B, Loyapat Lokwar Road. C, Lokwar Kakongo Road. D, Lorokon, Nakwamoru, Kapelibok, Juluk, Locharelim, Kotarik Road. E, Juluk, Kalomwe, Nariomoru Road. F, Kainuk, Lotongot, Lochakula Road. G, Kakongo, Nariamao, Locharesekon, Namambu Road. And H, Nakabosan, Nakwakipi, Nakaparaparat, all in Aro Sub-County in Turkana South Constituency. And finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, Locharelim Lopuke Road, Naipa Moruongor Road, Naipa Ulukuse Napaka Akali Road, Lobey Kangole Lorengipi Road, all in Lokiriama Sub-County, Loima constituency. And 2, provide the timelines within which the government will conclude the works on these roads to facilitate access to the government services and aid in curbing lawlessness in these said areas. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A request for statement on the brutal attack on tourists at Pioneer Beach Resort and Spa in Diani, Kwale County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the recent attack incident at the Pioneer Beach Resort and Spa in Diani, Kwale County. In the statement, the committee should, number 1, Mr. Speaker, provide a comprehensive overview of the security incident at the Pinewood Beach Resort and Spa, including the number of individuals involved, the extent of injuries sustained by the guests and staff, and the health status of those affected. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, outline actions taken by the relevant authorities to address and resolve the security breach at the resort, highlighting measures put in place by the government to ensure the safety and security of tourists, guests, and employees in Kenya's hospitality sector, particularly on popular tourist destinations like Diani. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, clarify whether there are any existing security protocols and regulations governing the protection of hotels and resorts, and if so, assess the effectiveness in preventing such incidents. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, investigate the coordination between law enforcement agencies and private security firms in their response to security threats at tourist establishments, providing an update on the progress of ongoing investigations into the identity and motives of the attackers and bringing them to book. And last, Mr. Speaker, recommend strategies to enhance the overall security of Kenya's tourism sector, emphasizing the importance of promoting a secure and welcoming environment for both domestic and international visitors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Osotsi, your statement was called earlier and it was dropped.
Indeed, I was still chairing the meeting of CPIC. Mr. Speaker, I wish to request for a statement on the implementation of automated revenue collection and management systems in counties. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding the implementation of automated revenue collection and management systems in counties. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide a status update on the implementation of automated revenue collection and management systems in all the 47 counties, disclosing details on the nature and cost of systems, the respective vendors, and the total revenue collected by the systems so far. Number 2, clarify whether the Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, was involved in the assessment of the suitability of the respective systems, and if so, highlight the recommendations made by the Commission pursuant to Article 216(2) of the Constitution. 3, undertake a comprehensive system audit of all the systems to include a detailed database level audit, a data storage infrastructure audit, a network security audit, a detailed application system audit, and a systems administration mechanism audit. Number 4, cause the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority to assess and report on the adherence of the tendering process, contractual and service level agreements to applicable laws and regulations. And 5, cause the Office of the Auditor General to assess and report on the value for money and indicate the impact of the systems on the on-source revenue in the respective counties. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to take a statement from the Standing Committee on Education regarding the relaying of erroneous results for the 2023 Kenya Certificate of Primary Education by the Kenya National Examination Council. In this statement, Mr. Speaker, I need the committee to disclose the nature of agreement between the NEC and the SMS provider contracted to release the 2023 KCPE results, indicating the provider's level of access to NEC servers that host the results and the security protocols in place. Number 2, table the 2023 KCPE results for Brainstar Academy, Kitengela International School, and Moi Kabarak Primary School, clarifying whether an audit of the results was conducted to ascertain their accuracy. 3, report on the suitability of the SMS results relaying system in the relaying results of future examinations, noting that the 2023 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examinations results are yet to be released. And finally, Mr. Speaker, state the measures in place, if any, to address the anomalies arising from the SMS results relaying system in order to prevent recurrence of the same. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, before we move to the statements by committee chairpersons, allow me to make the following communication. Honorable Senators, as you may recall, at the sitting of the Senate held on Thursday, 5th of October 2023, the temporary Speaker, then Senator Abdul Haji MP, directed the Senator for Vihiga County, Senator Godfrey Osotsi MP, to substantiate utterances made in the course of debate. The direction of the Speaker was made following a point of order by Senator Fonandi, Senator Samson Cherankei MP, pursuant to Standing Order 105-1. At this point of order, Senator Samson Cherankei MP stated as follows. Under Standing Order number 105 and 110, is it in order for my brother Senator Osotsi to incite the people of Aldai and Vihiga by alleging and stating as a matter of fact on the floor of the House that there are border clashes in Serem and Vihiga. This has not been recorded in any police station. A reading of the Hansard indicates that the statement that Senator Godfrey Osotsi MP was called upon to substantiate states as follows. We've had issues even recently in my county, in the boundary between Vihiga and Aldai at a place near Serem. This was very recent, in the last month. The attackers came, provoked and attacked a village, killed animals, burned them, injured people, and burnt houses. That was not given the coverage that Sondu is now being given now. Honorable Senator, Standing Order 105-1 states as follows. A senator shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts that the senator alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such facts instantly. Further, Standing Order 105-2 states as follows. If a senator has sufficient reason to convince the Speaker that the senator is unable to substantiate the allegation instantly, the Speaker shall require such senator substantiate the allegations not later than the sitting day, the next sitting day, failure to which the senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121, unless the senator withdraws the allegations and gives a suitable apology. At the sitting of the Senate held on the 5th of October 2023, Senator Osotsi MP was not able to substantiate his statements as required under Standing Order 105-1. Senator Osotsi subsequently requested to be allowed by the Speaker to provide the evidence at the next sitting in accordance with Standing Order 105-2. On Wednesday, 18th of October 2023, I consequently invited Senator Osotsi MP to table the evidence in support of the statement made on Thursday, 5th of October 2023. Thereupon, the said senator tabled a USB flash drive containing electronic material in support of his claim. I thereafter undertook to review the evidence and give a ruling on this matter. Further, via the letter dated 19th of October 2023, the senator requested for the admission of a certified copy of a charge sheet dated 16th of August 2023, police case number 722/237/2023, and OB number 3/15/8 2023 as part of the evidence on the allegations made. Following the tabling of the evidence by Senator Osotsi MP, I undertook to review the documents and give a ruling on the matter, as it was not practical to make a determination then. Now, honorable senators, as you may recall, in my communication to the Senate made on Thursday, 16th of November 2023, I indicated to the House that any document, evidence tabled by a senator in this House as evidence for substantiation of any allegations made under Standing Order number 105 must pass a certain threshold. Thereafter, highlighted the parameters for undertaking an assessment of the evidence table, including one, is the evidence table from a source which by parliamentary practice is official and admissible, and two, if the answer to A is in the affirmative, does the evidence relate to and verify the claim that was made and for which substantiation was required? Honorable Senators, that being the case, the first parameter to which is subjected the documents or material table was whether the evidence table was from a source which by parliamentary practice is official and admissible. A review of the USB flash drive indicates that it contained a folder titled Border Clashes in Kaptikani, Koitabut. The folder had the following: an undated 38 seconds TV 47 Kenya video clip showing images of dilapidated buildings and cut banana trees named in a disturbing incident on August 15th, year not indicated. A group of 100 youths attacked Koitabut village, Nandi County, leaving destruction in their wake. 2, an undated 2-minute, 25-second Citizen TV news video clip named Maafisa na wakazi wa Kapkitani wafanya kikao na viongozi kufuatia visa vya uvamizi kaunti ya Nandi. The video clip indicates that residents of Kaptikani village in Aldai constituency and security personnel in the area held a meeting following an attack on an individual in the area, and that 3 houses were burnt and property destroyed. The news clip also indicates that the attack was an alleged retaliatory following the death of a gentleman in the area and destruction of his motorbike. The clip further indicates that 3 suspects have been arrested in connection with the retaliatory attack. 3, an undated video clip named VAD 2023-1018 WA000 showing a burnt structure and livestock. And 4, an image named WhatsApp image 2023-1018 at 13:08:15 showing burnt livestock. As you're all aware, established practice in the Parliament of Kenya and in comparative jurisdictions is that extracts from newspapers and other media may not be tabled as evidence for substantiation of claims. This is buttressed by Standing Order 55, which provides as follows: the facts on which a request for statement is based may be said briefly, but extracts from newspapers and other media or quotations from speeches shall not be admissible. Consequently, and in accordance with this established parliamentary practice, the news clips from TV4 Kenya and Citizen TV News tabled by Senator Osotsi MP are inadmissible for purposes of substantiating any claim. Now, honorable senators, the second parameter, which is whether the evidence table relates to and verifies the claim that was made and for which substantiation was required. With respect to the video clip named VAD 2023-101, 8 WA00 and WhatsApp image 2023-1018, at 130815, they show images of bound livestock and structures. And in my assessment, nothing in the video clips categorically states and makes reference to the allegation made by Senator Osotsi. I therefore find it difficult to admit these two videos as evidence for purposes of substantiation. The final document submitted by Senator Osotsi was a copy of a charge sheet dated 16th of August 2023. As required under Standing Order 152, the evidence to be tabled by a senator for purposes of substantiation is to be tabled at the next sitting day. A senator required to substantiate an allegation is expected to table all documents for such substantiation as required under the standing orders on the day appointed for substantiation. This being the case, and noting that Senator Osotsi submitted a letter dated 19th of October 2023 and received in the office of the Speaker on 23rd of October 2023, making a request to allow the charge sheet to be admitted for substantiation, I find that the charge sheet is inadmissible. The charge sheet ought to have been tabled in the Senate on the 18th of October 2023 and thereby recorded as part of the documents or material submitted for substantiation. In any case, the charge sheet indicates that an offense was committed on the 15th of August 2023 by two individuals who are said to have willfully and unlawfully set fire to a dwelling house valued at Kenya shillings 1.750 million at Kemeloi location in Nandi South Sub-County in Nandi County. The charge sheet adduced as evidence does not make a connection to the allegation made by Senator Osotsi. Honorable Senators, I therefore find and rule that in respect to the challenge by Senator Samson Cherargei MP to substantiate the claim relating to clashes at the border between Nandi and Vihiga counties at a place called Serem, Senator Osotsi MP did not table any evidence or provide an explanation to substantiate this claim as required. The claim was accordingly not substantiated. In accordance with my findings, in relation to the admissibility of the documents tabled by the said senator and the failure to meet the threshold of substantiation in respect to the claims made, I now require Senator Osotsi, pursuant to Standing Order number 1052, to withdraw and apologize in respect of the claims that there have been clashes in the boundary between Vihiga and Aldai at a place called Serem. I also proceed to caution, as provided for in Standing Order 152, that failure to withdraw and apologize will result in the senator being deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121, and I will, at that juncture then, require the senator to withdraw. So, Senator Osotsi, you may now proceed to either withdraw that statement and apologize or allow the chair to make further orders.
Mr. Speaker, I have listened to your ruling very carefully. I provided whatever documents I provided, and I am not willing to withdraw. But because I know the event happened, and the documents I provided were the documents I have as the evidence. But the truth of the matter is that the clashes happened, and even the Kenyans who are watching me today from that region know it happened. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll be willing to withdraw from the chamber.
Order, honorable senators. I have another communication to make. What is the point of order, Senator Kathuri?
Mr. Speaker, you know Senator Osotsi should wait for you to make the ruling. Because that is the one. I saw last week when Senator Sifuna also descended to get out of the chamber himself without your ruling, Mr. Speaker. This trend is not really the best practice. So the senators should wait so that you make your ruling. And then, because he is chasing himself out of the chamber, Mr. Speaker.
Order, honorable senators. Order. What is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, this is not a very light matter, as some want just to portray and wish it away. Mr. Speaker, a trend is emerging, and if you don't nip it in the bud, you may lose control over this House. You are constitutionally mandated to run this House and bring order. It has become a habit of a number of senators because they think the Speaker is just sending me away. What is it after all? That's why even in the last few weeks, now they've begun this exercise of saying, I can even walk away before you make a pronouncement. Mr. Speaker, the sanctions that can be passed to a senator for being grossly disorderly are enumerated and listed. And it is not just about walking out of the House or being told, come back next week on Tuesday. Mr. Speaker, can you give a ruling and guide this House on one, what happens to senators who continually show this level of defiance because they are few and they are known? Number two, Mr. Speaker, whether it is in order for a senator to look a speaker straight in the eye and say, I don't need you to even guide me on what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I find that to be gravely, first of all, it is arrogant, it is wrong, and it undermines the authority of this House. Mr. Speaker, please guide this House. Otherwise, colleague senators will begin this habit. And you will not have anything that you'll do because a culture will have been set.
Yes, Senator Wambua.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would have requested Senator Cheruiyot to substantiate when he says that trend is being set by a few senators who are known but are not going in that direction, Mr. Speaker. The direction I want to take will be, the Speaker, you gave Senator Osotsi two options. The option of either substantiating or apologizing. Actually, the two options. One was either apologize, withdraw and apologize, or walk out of the chamber. You know the problem is the Speaker.
Order, honorable senators. May the senator be heard in silence.
You know, if you listen, then you benefit. If you don't listen, if your turn to speak, then you don't benefit. The Speaker, Senator Osotsi opted for the option of leaving the chamber. And the Speaker, after that, we had moved to the next order. The Speaker, on our side as leadership of the minority, we are also finding it very difficult to reconcile ourselves with a growing trend where members seated in the chamber want to take up the roles of the Speaker and direct the Speaker on how to conduct the business of this House, Mr. Speaker. As a leadership of this side, Mr. Speaker, we take great exception to that trend. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, let us not spend more time on this particular matter. Let us not spend more time on this particular matter, Senator Madzayo, because both sides, as you speak, you're basically trying to tell the Speaker that you better run this House in this manner. Now, honorable senators, let me go straight to the case at hand, the case of Senator Osotsi. Having read the ruling, the first option given was for the senator to withdraw and apologize. And I stated that if you're unable to do that, then I will make further orders. I said it very clear. Now, of course, Senator Osotsi, having failed or refused to withdraw and apologize, it was upon the Speaker then to communicate the next course of action. Because under Standing Order 121, if you're disorderly, it does not mean automatically you have to withdraw from the chamber. Maybe I was going to caution him, because that is one of the options available under Standing Order 121. Senator Osotsi has breached Standing Order 121, not Standing Order 122. And the options available to a speaker once a senator breaches Standing Order 121 is one, he can give caution and caution the senator, or he can order the senator to withdraw for the remainder of the sitting. And therefore, the further orders would have been either I would have cautioned Senator Osotsi under Standing Order 121, or I would have asked him to withdraw. He chose to walk out. But for purposes of the record, Senator Osotsi, what I intended to rule, and unfortunately you decided to take the other option, I was inclined to caution you so that you proceed with today's sittings. However, having invited me to order you to withdraw, I will abide by your invitation and ask you to withdraw from the chamber for the remainder of today's sitting. Now, honorable senators, I have the following communication to make. As you may recall, during the morning sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, 22nd November 2023, the temporary speaker, Senator Abdul Haji MP, directed Senator Samson Cherargei MP to withdraw from the presence of the Senate for disorderly conduct pursuant to Standing Order 984. Standing Order 984 states that the Speaker shall order any senator who unnecessarily and persistently interrupts proceedings or consults loudly and disruptly to withdraw from the chamber, and Standing Order 121 shall apply to any such senator. Standing Order 121 2B provides for the consequences of creating disorder in the Senate. The standing order states as follows: the Speaker may call a senator whose conduct is disorderly to order and order the senator to withdraw from the precincts of the Senate for the remainder of that day's sitting. It is on this basis that the then temporary Speaker, Senator Abdul Haji MP, orders Senator Cherargei to withdraw from the precincts of the Senate, as Senator Cherargei was creating disorder by unnecessarily interrupting the proceedings and consulting in a disruptive manner. Honorable Senators, you will also recall that at the sitting of the Senate held on Tuesday, 28 November 2023, the Senator for Kakamega County, Senator Boni Halwale MP, rose on a point of order, calling to question the conduct of Senator Samson Cherargei MP following the withdrawal from the chamber as directed by the temporary Speaker on the morning sitting of Wednesday, 22nd November 2023. In the point of order, Senator Boni MP alleged that the Senator Cherargei MP, after being directed to withdraw from the Senate, proceeded to the Parliamentary Media Center, whereupon Senator Cherargei addressed the media on various matters. Senator Boni stated as follows: my attention was drawn to the fact that no sooner had the senator been ordered out than he went to the media center and addressed the press. I therefore would like you to guide us under Standing Order number 122 on gross disorderly conduct, whether the senator of Nandi County, by staying in the premises of this parliament, did or did not defy a ruling of the chairperson. It is at this point that I undertook to establish the facts and give a ruling at the next sitting. Honorable Senators, on inquiry into the matter, I have established that Senator Cherargei MP after withdrawing from the chamber as directed by the temporary speaker on Wednesday, 22nd November 2023, proceeded to the Senate lounge where he had tea and interacted with other senators. 2, proceeded to Parliament Media Center and addressed the media. 3, took lunch at the Parliament restaurant. 4, disregarded the direction of the Chief Sergeant-at-Arms to withdraw from the premises of Parliament. And finally, attempted to access the Senate chamber for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 22nd November 2023. From the foregoing, it can be noted that Senator Samson Cherargei MP was indeed within the Parliament buildings after being directed by the Speaker to withdraw from the premises of Parliament pursuant to Standing Order 121. Honourable Senators, for the avoidance of doubt and for the benefit of all honourable senators, Section 3(1) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, read together with Standing Order 2 of the Senate, Standing Orders, defines the premises of Parliament to include the chamber of the Senate and of the National Assembly, every part of the buildings in which the chambers are situated, the offices of Parliament, the galleries and places provided for the use and accommodation of members of Parliament, members of the public and representatives of the press, and any forecourt, yard, garden, enclosure, or open space appurtenant thereto and used as provided for the purposes of Parliament. The offices of Parliament include the places within such offices that are provided for the use of members of Parliament, members of staff, members of the public and the press, committee rooms, and other meeting places provided as used for Parliament's purposes. This being the case, a senator who has been called to order for disorderly conduct and subsequently directed to withdraw from the premises of Parliament, in accordance with the standing orders, must withdraw from the chamber and all other areas referred to under the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act and Standing Order 2 of the Senate and the National Assembly as such. As places provided for the use and accommodation of members of Parliament, members of public, and representatives of the press, the dining areas, and any other place provided or used for Parliament's purposes. Honourable Senators, this is not the first time that the matter of disorderly conduct in the Senate has arisen. Indeed, Senator Samson Cherargei MP has been called out to order for disorderly conduct severally and directed to withdraw from the Senate on 3 occasions, the most recent incident being on Wednesday, 22nd November 2023. I have made several directives from the Chair and issued a substantive ruling on 28 February 2023 with regard to disorder in the Senate. In the ruling, I cautioned honourable senators to observe decorum, respect to the chair, and maintain order in the Senate, and that instances of disorderly conduct will be dealt with without fear or favour, and that there will be no leniency, whether the disorder emanates from the majority or minority side of the Senate. Honourable Senators, Standing Order 122(1) highlights the instances in which a senator displays gross disorderly conduct, which includes defies a ruling or direction of the Speaker or Chairperson of the committee. The sanctions for the conduct of such senator are provided for under Standing Order 122, which states, the Speaker may call a senator whose conduct is grossly disorderly to order and shall order the senator to withdraw immediately from the premises of Parliament on the first occasion for a maximum of 3 sitting days, including the sitting day of suspension, and B, on the second or subsequent occasion during the same session for a minimum of 7 sitting days and a maximum of 21 sitting days, including the day of suspension. Honourable Senators, by a letter reference number NCS/113-2023, dated the 29th of November 2023, and received in my office on Wednesday, 29th November 2023, Senator Samson Cherargei MP expressed regret and requested for pardon for his failure to adhere to the directions of the Speaker to withdraw from the premises of Parliament on Wednesday, 22nd November 2023. However, I find the actions of Senator Cherargei MP after being directed to withdraw from the chamber on Wednesday, 22nd November 2023, pursuant to Standing Order 121(2)(b), amounting to defying a ruling and direction of the Speaker. The Senator's action exhibited disdain for his colleagues, the Speaker, and the Senate as a whole. I therefore find that the conduct of Senator Cherargei MP on the stated day to be grossly disorderly. In addition, while at the Parliament Media Center, Senator Cherengei made comments which amounted to casting aspersions on the integrity of the chair, honorable senators, and the Senate in general. I find the statements made by the senator most disrespectful and contemptuous of the Senate. The statements having been made outside the formal proceedings of the Senate may not attract the withdrawal as contemplated under Standing Order 102. I, however, reprimand Senator Samson Cherengei, MP, for the said comments, and I will not hesitate in future to refer such actions to the Committee on Powers and Privileges for consideration. Honorable Senators, this being the first occasion for Samson Cherengei, MP, to be grossly disorderly under Standing Order 122 in this session, on account that the senator expressed remorse for his actions on Wednesday, 22nd November 2023, I accept the apology and take this opportunity to caution Senator Cherengei that such behavior will not be tolerated henceforth. I will not hesitate to invoke the provisions of Standing Order 122 on Senator Cherengei, MP, in the event of gross disorderly on his part. I thank you. Next order. Now we'll move to statements pursuant to Standing Order 56-1. These are the statements by committee chairpersons. The chairperson, Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. Okay, we will move now to the Chairperson Standing Committee on Health. The first statement by the Chairperson on Agriculture, that one is deferred. Chairperson Standing Committee on Health. That one is also deferred. The Chairperson, Standing Committee on ICT. That statement is deferred.
No.
Okay.
The Vice
Proceed.
President. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B to make a statement relating to the activities of Standing Committee on Education for the period between 1st July 2023 to 30th November 2023. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the committee held a total 18 sittings, during which it considered 1 legislative proposal, 9 statements, and 3 inquiries. A. Legislative proposals. Honorable Speaker, the committee undertook pre-publication scrutiny of the Digital Literacy Bill 2023, which was referred to the committee on 29th May 2023. The committee sought responses from the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy and the Ministry of Education. The committee thereafter deliberated on the submissions, engaged the sponsor, Senator Karen Nyamu, MP, who is a member of the committee, to ensure that all views are adequately captured. The committee recommended to the Speaker that the bill be published. Honorable Speaker, 2 statements from the previous reporting period are still ongoing, whereas 7 statements were sought from the committee during the current period. The committee considered the responses to the 2 statements from the previous reporting period and resolved to further engage the stakeholders. The committee is currently considering in additional 7 statements that were asked during the quarter. In consideration, the statements The committee held meetings with stakeholders and respective senators who requested for the statements. Mr. Speaker, sir, at a sitting of the committee held on 23rd November 2023, the committee met to consider written responses on 6 of the statements and found them to be unsatisfactory, and thereafter resolved to convene with the Cabinet Secretary of Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy and the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury and Economic Planning on Friday, 1st December 2023. The statements are as follows. Statement by Senator Cherargei MP on plans to install Device Management System, DMS, as spyware on phones. Statement by Senator Samson Cherargei MP on the alleged breach of customer data at Naivas Supermarket. Statement by Senator Hamida Kibwana MP on sexual exploitations of minors online. Statement by Senator Tabitha Mutinda MP on the state of digital skills literacy in Kenya. Statement by Senator Hamida MP on the sale of Telecom Kenya to Infrastructure Corporation Africa, and statement by Senator Hamida Kibwana MP on the state of digital infrastructure in the public service. Mr. Speaker, sir, arising from deliberations with various stakeholders, the committee developed its work plan for the forthcoming reporting period to include A, inquiry into budgetary allocations and construction of data centers and digital infrastructures in the country. B, conduct a county oversight and networking engagement in Uasin Gishu, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, and Kisumu counties. C, meeting with telecommunications industry, stakeholders, and cabinet secretary, the National Treasury and Economic Planning to deliberate on the matter of import tax imposed on SIM cards and exercise duty on airtime and telephone services to address the rising cost of calls across networks. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee has received a response to the statement regarding the financial status and operations of the Postal Corporations of Kenya requested by Samson Cherargei MP, and is scheduled to consider the response on Friday, 1st December 2023, together with the statement regarding the delays in exchequer disbursement and reports of hacking of the IFMIS system requested by Senator Fatuma Dulo, CBS MP, that was committed to both the committee and the Senate Standing Committee on Finance, Commerce and Budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee is further following up on responses to the statement regarding the operations of the Kenya National Library Services requested by Senator Jones Mwaruma MP. 10, inquiries. Honorable Speaker, the committee is currently conducting 3 inquiries on the digital access infrastructure in Kenya, the budgetary allocations and constructions of data centers and digital infrastructure in the country, and the telecommunication infrastructure and dispute between ATC Kenya and Telecom Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to thank your office and that of the Clerk of the Senate for the continuous support accorded to the committee in undertaking its work. Lastly, I also wish to thank the members of the committee of their commitment, diligence, and contribution during the committee activities. For Senator Chair Alan Chesang. Thank you.
Next statement, Chair, Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs. The next one is by the Chair Riba Committee. Okay, you are standing, okay, for the Chair Riba. Senator Bugwa, proceed and give your statement.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B to make a statement on the committee activities for the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare for the period commencing 1st July 2023 to 30th November 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the period under review, the committee held a total of 63 sittings, considered 2 bills, 6 petitions, and 64 statements. The committee also considered 2 legislative proposals. In respect of bills, Mr. Speaker, the following were considered and reports tabled. 1. The Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill 2023, Senate Bills number 29 of 2023, and the County Hall of Fame Bill, Senate Bills number 18 of 2023. The committee also considered 2 legislative proposals, namely the Labour Migration Bill 2023 and the National Employment Authority Bill 2023. The committee has considered the Employment Amendment Bill 2023 and held public participation and tabled its report in the House. Mr. Speaker, with regard to petitions, the committee considered 6 petitions during the period under review and tabled 5 reports on the petitions as follows. A. Petition by Mr. James Muiru Gakonga and other residents of Lamu, Baringo, and Nairobi counties on Linda Soccer tapping into 302 billion football economy. And B. Petition by Mr. Kimtai Kirui and Mr. Chepsus Arap Koech concerning alleged fraud by First Choice Recruitment and Consultancy Agents Limited. C. Petition by Mr. David Bimji Atela and others on unfair terms and conditions for universal health care staff and delay in internship posting. D. Petition by Mrs. Tasila Mwasimba and others concerning unlawful salary deductions of female teachers by the Kenya Women Teachers Association. And E. Petition by supply chain management assistants concerning discrimination against health workers by the Ministry of Health. 7. The committee is still considering the petition concerning mismanagement of football in the country by the Football Kenya Federation and will table its report in due course. Mr. Speaker, sir, regarding statements pursuant to Standing Order 52.1, where a senator may make a statement on a matter of county-wide, inter-county, national, regional, or international concern, or a matter of general topical concern, 2 statements were referred to the committee. The committee has concluded statement 1 and is following up on the responses on the remaining one. 9. On statement pursuant to Standing Order 53.1, 65 statements were referred to the committee. The committee has concluded on 28 of these statements, while others at various stages of consideration. The status table on statement is attached to this statement. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee conducted inquiries on 2 statements, namely the plight of Kenyan migrant workers in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and other countries in the Middle East. The committee will be tabling its report soon. The payment of one-off honorarium and pension to former councillors in the defunct local authorities. This is an ongoing matter whereby the committee is following up with the National Treasury on the payments. Mr. Speaker, sir, on foreign visits, the committee undertook an exchange visit to the Parliament of Uganda, where it had an opportunity to meet with its counterpart committees from 19th to 26th November 2023. The committee will table its report in due course. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee held 2 report writing retreats and petitions and bills before it had 1 stakeholder engagement on the level of preparedness of the Africa Cup of Nations Games. Mr. Speaker, sir, going forward, the committee intends to carry the following activities. 1, hold continuous engagements with the National Treasury and county governments, including the assemblies on the issue of statutory deductions, pension and SACCO payments. And B, hold continuous engagements with the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and Arts on the sports development and management. And C, hold continuous engagements with the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection on 1, labor migration, promotion of skilled labor, and protection of unskilled labor migrants. 2, registration of persons with disabilities. And 3, social safety nets for the vulnerable in the society. And 5, the welfare of children. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to read.
Thank you. Next is statement and Standing Order 57.1. The Senate Majority Leader. Majority Leader. Majority Leader. Senator Medu, you're out of order, Senator Medu. I can see you on intervention for a point of order. What is your point of order?
Okay. That one needs mentorship, Mr. Speaker. You can see 1 year after being in Parliament, he's still pressing buttons haphazardly. But he's a good young man, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1 to present to the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 5th of December, 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, as honorable senators are aware, at the rise of the Senate on the 7th of December 2023, the Senate will proceed for the long-awaited, I can add, December recess in accordance with the Senate calendar approved on the 16th of February 2023. While we look forward to this recess, it is noteworthy that there is still a high number of business pending conclusion in the Senate. I spoke at length about this during my statement last week, Mr. Speaker, on the business before the House that I strongly felt we needed to conclude before we proceed on recess. As honorable senators will observe, at order number 16, 17, 18, and 19, and 20 in today's order paper, there are motions scheduled for debate. I appeal to the sponsors of these motions to remain in the chamber, until the business is prosecuted. At orders number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, 7 bills are scheduled for division of the Committee of the Whole. I request our party whips to mobilize the request and the requisite number of county delegations for divisions on the bill to be undertaken and thereafter forward to the National Assembly for consideration. This action will undoubtedly contribute to our legislative output for the second session. However, our entry on bills remains high as there are a number of 29 bills that are at the second reading stage. I urge the movers of these bills to be available in the Senate whenever the Senate Business Committee schedules them on the order paper. With respect to petitions, I commend the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, which has concluded consideration of all the 8 petitions referred to the committee. This should be emulated by all other standing committees that have petitions pending before them. That being said, there are 11 petitions that are now due for reporting by standing committees. I urge the respective standing committees to expeditiously consider these petitions and table the reports thereon. Regarding statements, there are a total of 525 statements that have been sought, out of which 282 are pending conclusion by respective standing committees. I urge the standing committees to consider the statements and use mechanisms provided by the standing orders to make reports thereon. The procedure on questions has taken root as senators continue to file questions on diverse issues affecting their counties. However, it is on record that the Senate is dissatisfied with the conduct of a number of cabinet secretaries for failure to honor invitations to respond to the executive. This is a matter I undertake to address with the executive to ensure that questions by senator are addressed by cabinet secretaries. Mr. Speaker, there is no hiding on this. Remember what members agree on. We need to file an amendment to Powers and Privilege Act to provide more stringent sanctions on ministers who continue and witnesses who continue to take the authority of the Senate or Parliament as a whole without the seriousness demanded thereof. At its meeting held on Tuesday, 28th of November 2023, the SBC approved the next set of questions scheduled for order paper on Wednesday, the 6th of December 2023. The summary of the questions and cabinet secretaries to appear as follows. Question 44 to the CS for Water, 46 CS for Environment, 50 the CS for Water, 64 to the CS for Agriculture, and so on and so forth, Madam Speaker. So next week we shall have the Minister for Water, the Minister for Agriculture, and the Minister for Environment. 2 senators form that particular list. It's my hope, Mr. Speaker, that they will find the time to appear before. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, we will do what we need to do as a House. I therefore thank you, Mr. Speaker, and lay the statement on the table of the Senate. Thank you.
So, honorable senators, you'll allow me to reorganize the order paper. What is it, Senator Chalge?
Mr. Speaker, understanding on the one requesting your indulgence, I thought you would have allowed us a few minutes to react to the statements with your
Because,
indulgence at your
I'm
director.
short of those minutes today. Because
Maybe
of,
10 minutes, a few of us. Just comments.
maybe I limit to 3 minutes. Just a comment does not need a lot
Okay.
of stories. Just 3 minutes, I'll give 4 senators.
Okay. Can I start with your indulgence?
Of course, you have the mic. You have
Okay.
you have the
Thank
floor.
you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And you know I'm always an altar boy. So, Mr. Speaker, mine is just on the follow-up of the Committee of Labor and Social Welfare. Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank the Labor and Social Welfare Committee. They are doing a tremendous job, Mr. Speaker. One is on the issue of follow-up of the petition by Kimutai Kirui and Chepses Arab Koech. Mr. Speaker, in the report that was adopted by this House, the committee had ruled that within 1 month, the refund that had been committed by the First Choice Recruitment Agency in Eldoret, the refund to the victim should have been done within 1 month. Mr. Speaker, as we talk, the same agency has not refunded to the victims that were alleged of the fraud that was committed in Eldoret, Mr. Speaker, sir. Would I be in order that the Committee of Labor and Social Welfare be directed, Mr. Speaker, next week, courtesy of you and in your indulgence, understanding, to report back and table a report to show how many victims have been refunded by First Choice Consultants Limited, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, the sad reality is that most of these are young people who have just finished Form 4. Mr. Speaker, as we talk, there are parents who have died because of the stress of this fraud. Mr. Speaker, as we talk, there are young people who have stress, mental disorder. There are many banks, their properties are being auctioned because they took money to give to this agency in Eldoret, Mr. Speaker, with the hope of traveling for last year's World Cup, Mr. Speaker. Can I request through your office for the Committee of Labor and Social Welfare to bring back a report on how many, Mr. Speaker, victims have been refunded? And finally, Mr. Speaker, the people who have been accused, the chief perpetrator, the directors of First Choice Limited, as we talk, they are working scot-free and saying to the people in Eldoret, so you took us to the Senate. What happens? Where will you take us, Mr. Speaker? Can the committee also table on the status of the investigations, Mr. Speaker? Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the elections, because I know I have 30 seconds, on the elections by FKF for next year, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the Committee of Labor to fast-track on the issue of Federation of Kenya football, on the issue of elections of other federations in this country, so that, Mr. Speaker, we can ensure we protect the issue of sports, Mr. Speaker. I would request that Labor and Social Welfare meet all stakeholders as they plan and assure this country that in February next year, Mr. Speaker, the Federation of Kenya football must do their elections, Mr. Speaker, just like any other federation, so that we fail being taken advantage. And I know Senator Aaron Cheruyot nowadays is playing, but I don't know whether he's playing like Maguire, Mr. Speaker. You know, Maguire has an habit of scoring on his own goal. So Senator Cheruyot, although he's having his tournament this weekend, I don't know whether he's Maguire or the one Canacho. Who's
Senator Oroba Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support Senator Karen Nyamu's statement on regulating this alcohol consumption and nightclubs and club activities, Mr. Speaker. However, as I support this statement, I think I want to remind the parents, Mr. Speaker. You know, I'm a parent of a 16-year-old son. So I want to remind the parents that we are legislators and there's only so much we can control. We can put regulations on what time the bars open and they close. But as a parent, you cannot outsource that responsibility of inculcating the culture or characters of your child, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, while we are regulating these clubs and whatever, Mr. Speaker, I urge the parents to spend some time with their teenagers, to spend some time even with their young adults, so that they can be able to advise them and inform them of things, worldly things, Mr. Speaker, because as much as we are going to put rules and regulations, in the end, it comes down to the choice. This trend of aluta, of partying, Mr. Speaker, from Friday until Tuesday, whether we put rules and regulation, the teenagers can also buy alcohol on Friday. That is enough for them to party all the way till Monday, whether we close the nightclubs or not. So it is an issue of outsourcing parenting, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, parents, I urge you to spend time with your children and talk to them so that they don't end up being the kings and queens of this Aluta culture, Mr. Speaker. And for the leaders who are elected, I know that in Dagoretti North, we have, for instance, Robert Alai, who was elected on the basis of shutting down bars. We also need to hear their voices on this trend of Aluta. But what I want to say as I support this statement is that it is upon us parents to be able to guide our children. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kisang William.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support the statement for FKF to have elections, and they are scheduled for next year, February. Honorable Speaker, this particular federation has the tendency, especially those who are office bearers currently, Honorable Speaker, they go to court to block any attempts for elections to take place, because I think there is a lot of corruption there. There are cartels there, Honorable Speaker. We need to ensure that these elections take place, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it's not even FKF alone. Even Athletics Kenya have similar issues. And you know, these are people who have been in office forever, and they don't want to hand over the mantle to their youth, especially those who are still active in the sports, both football and athletics, Honorable Speaker. This is a disease. It's a cancer that has bedeviled our country, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Chiruyo Talun.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to, first of all, appreciate the two committees that have tabled before the Senate the reports of their activities. That is the Committee on Labor and the Committee on ICT. While at it, Mr. Speaker, remind the chairperson of Health, and I don't know which other one, that was slated to make their reports today, but unfortunately...
Justice.
Yeah, Health and Justice and Legal Affairs, Mr. Speaker, that they need to take the work of this House a bit more seriously. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that if the chairperson is absent, the vice is absent, all the other 7 members are absent, unless that committee doesn't take the work of this House seriously. Because I have sat down the last 3 days, and I take a lot of time paying keen attention, Mr. Speaker, to each committee report on the progress. Because this House, Mr. Speaker, is on the brink of history. Yesterday, I was having lunch with colleagues from the National Assembly, where we were a number of senators, and they celebrated us as a House and said, I like how Senate works. You guys were the first to speak on this issue, for example, of edible oils. You've gone on and carried very serious investigations about it. You are equally handling the issue of Shakahola. You have even done a report already and listed so many things which the Senate is seriously pursuing. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I hold the view that if it was not for the fact that this House is heavily underfunded, and each time when we appear before our colleagues in the National Assembly Budget and Finance Committee, they don't seem to appreciate the amount and the gravity of work that the Senate is handling, Mr. Speaker. We would be doing far more, much more than many of these so-called investigative agencies. That's why yesterday, Mr. Speaker, when I was speaking on the report of Shakahola, I spoke at length and said I wish colleague senators could appreciate the powers that we have under Article 94(5) of the Constitution of Kenya, and to know that as a body, we can investigate and give very serious recommendations and sanctions to people who are involved in corruption, people who are underperforming in their responsibilities, people who are mismanaging public resources, and so many other societal ills that this House oversights, including governors and so on and so forth, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, when committees present their work to the House, it is something that we must appreciate and thank them for the work that they are doing. I appreciate the work of the ICT committee. There are many things, though, Mr. Speaker, that I'd wish I had listened to in that particular report, because I know statements that I have seen raised by our colleagues and many things that we need to appreciate. I want to urge our colleagues in the various committees, because we are the oversight wing of the government of Kenya, it is our duty to keep on track all promises made by this administration. And it is important that when committees report, to keep track and keep the country abreast with the things that are happening. I wanted to hear, for example, the committee on ICT on how many kilometers of the promised 100,000 kilometers, you know, Mr. Speaker, of fiber optic across the country. It would be good just to be appraised. Are the officers even in sync? Do they know what is happening? That is our duty, because that is what you do as oversight. And this is not an issue of whichever side of the house that you belong to, because oversight is with the Senate. It is not to any particular side of the house, Mr. Speaker. The same for the Labour Committee on the reports that they have progressed and given to the House. I know for a fact, Mr. Speaker, that we made a promise. Unfortunately, I'm out of time, but if you could graciously, just 2 minutes, Mr. Speaker, I will conclude in 2 minutes.
Just give him 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to point out to the Labour Committee that one of the key promises that this administration promised the people of Kenya is on the issue of labor bilaterals with other countries. It will be important to know how many have been fulfilled, the challenges that we are having, why that program hasn't taken off, because remember, Mr. Speaker, that FDI, foreign direct investment, and remittance by fellow countrymen that are working out of the country, recently overtook even our horticultural products in terms of growth of our GDP. Therefore, this is a program that we need to handle with a lot of seriousness. It will be important for this committee to complete on the work that had been begun by the previous Labour Committee on what is happening in Saudi Arabia, many of our kids, and the challenges that they're having. But over and above it, to know that recently, last month when the president was in Saudi Arabia, he signed on an expanded bilateral agreement that expands the scope of workers of Kenya that go to Saudi Arabia to be beyond domestic workers only. That now we have people that can go and do professional jobs in those particular countries. We have the same for Germany and UAE. That is the level of the reporting that we want to hear from our committees and know what is happening with these ministries. Why the delay? Is it anything to do with legislative work that we need to do? Though I know that that cannot be the case, Mr. Speaker, because we have done our bit and hold the public officers to account so that our countries can benefit. But I celebrate the work that has been done by our committees. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I hope that has gotten to the chairs. You know that is the language we speak in liaison committee. So we didn't do a lot in liaison to make sure also enough reports are brought before this House. I understand 4 members, and only maybe even how many I've given, but let me give the last 2. Senator Mugatana Danson, and the last one be Senator Sige Kagei Christo.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to rise in support of the statement by the Senator for Turkana, Senator Lomenem, James Lomenem. But before I say so, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to take a minute of my time to celebrate, because we are going into Christmas, some of the very good contributions we've had on the floor of this House from some of our colleagues, Majority Leader, Mr. Speaker, the Government Whip, Mr. Speaker, Esther Ekenyuri, Mr. Speaker, and VIP herself. Mr. Speaker, we must say what is good is good. And Mr. Speaker, I have taken my time to sit here and listen to some of the contributions on this House. May God keep them having...
Senator Mugatana, you know the members here are not many. You could have recognized all of them.
I recognize all of them, Mr. Speaker. I recognize all of them. Not forgetting all of them, Madam okay. Speaker, Mr. Speaker. But I want to specifically mention those because I have enjoyed sitting here through listening to their contributions, and may God help them to continue in that spirit. Mr. Speaker, the issue of curfew really affects business so badly, Mr. Speaker. And unfortunately, we of the counties that are on the northern side and even, the drier part of the nation, we have been subject to these curfews which are given by the Minister for Interior and National Coordination. Generally, Mr. Speaker, the curfews do serve a purpose at some point. But, Mr. Speaker, the problem that Senator Lomenem is raising, and I want to support him, and I want the Committee of Security to look into it, is that there is never a time limitation given to these curfews. And you know, what happens is they are forgotten. It's like the minister gives a curfew, and then the time continues, and then nobody remembers that a certain area has curfew. Mr. Speaker, when you look at curfews that have affected Tana River, Mr. Speaker, you are even told, like in Lamu, that you should not go out and fish. Mr. Speaker, fishing is done at night. Most of the productive fishing is done at night. When ministers give orders of curfews, Mr. Speaker,
is Senator Mugatana's time over? Give him 1 minute to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I was on this point that when the minister gives these orders, like against fishing, against movement of animals, they affect business very badly. So I'm urging the minister, even from the floor of this house, to please review all the curfew orders that they have given so that they don't forget that these orders actually affect business, affect the livelihoods of people, and some people just depend on that particular business to survive. Areas of fishing, areas of animal movement, please, Mr. Speaker, I urge the minister to look at them. Even before the statement goes to the committee, he should look and review. People suffer when these orders are given without a time frame. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kegei Christo.
Thank you very much, Chair. I wanted to get clarification as I begin on a point of order that was raised by Senator Kinyua on the statement of the erroneous marks being given by KCPE through the portals, Chair. I wish that the Chair would also help me, because I raised a statement of the same nature, the exact same nature yesterday, and I would like your direction as to what will happen, as another couple of statements of the same have been raised here today. Second, Chair, I wanted to just inform Senator Cherargei, who made a couple of comments directed to the Labour Committee, which I sit in. Number one, the Labour Committee has been working very hard. Very, very hot topics have been brought into our committee, including the Wasingishu issue, as well as the FKF football. Both are being dealt with the most serious in its nature, Chair. And I want to just reassure the Senator that we gave direction that within 90 days of the report that we did hand in already on the Wasingishu matter, that the petitioners will get information as to how many people have been paid, how many people are still outstanding to be paid. That is already in the works. 2, FKF, we just had a meeting with them this morning, Chair, with the petitioner and his group, as well as FKF president and his group. And we are definitely on the way to resolving the matter. So let him rest assured that the Labour Committee is working. And I say that on behalf of the Chair. Lastly, I rise to support the statement made by Senator Nyamu. Mr. Speaker, it's a really big issue of this partying and drinking and clubbing from dawn till dawn. Mr. Speaker, this is a place where predators make prey to young people. They of course, are vulnerable young people with sometimes asinine behavior. Well, let's admit it. However, it's not a grounds for these institutions and these places, clubs, and the like, which hold these parties from dusk to dusk, dawn to dawn, to take advantage of these young people. Mr. Speaker, we know that in these establishments, we see young people being drugged, we see young people being taken advantage of, we see young people even being groomed. That is something that has not been discussed on the floor of the House, but it's extremely important for Kenyans to take seriously. Young people are prey in these types of establishments, and I thank Senator Nyamu for bringing that statement. And I want Kenyans to know that Senator Karen Nyamu amesema futa aluta. That is basically
as something that needs to be taken very seriously, and I support the senator in her efforts.
Thank you. Senator Christo, you asked some direction from the chair. If your statement was under 53.1, standing under 53.1, then you get your response, of course, from the relevant committee. The statement under 52.1 is like a personal statement. So I think you should not be worried. Your statement will still be replying to. Okay?
Thank you very much, Chair, for the guidance. However, there was a second statement under 53.1 with regards to the KCPE results and their erroneous nature.
That is what I'm saying. That will be replied to by the relevant committee in education. You just wait and they'll be able to settle your problem out. Next, honorable senators, I want to reorganize our business today, this afternoon. Business appearing as under number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. These ones will be handled in the next sitting. They'll be defined. So we go to under number 15, clerk.
Order number 15, the T Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2023, resumption of debate. Second reading.
This motion was moved and seconded. And now I want to propose the question that the T Bill, Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2023, be now read a second time. So, can see Senator Chalgay, you're on the top of the list.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. From the onset, I want to support this T amendment, Mr. Speaker. This is a very important amendment of the T Bill 2023. Mr. Speaker, you remember in 2020, after Christmas, we convened for special sitting, and it did pass T Act in 2020. So, Speaker, I think there is always great improvement to the tea sector, Mr. Speaker. Where I come from, we largely depend on tea. As we talk, almost the entire of Nandi, as we talk, Mr. Speaker, sir, is largely tea, Mr. Speaker, tea. And coincidentally, the tea drinkers, who include Senator Boni Khalwale, are our neighbors. So God knew that we would plant tea and get a good market in our neighbors who normally take tea, Mr. Speaker, after every meal. I wish and pray in my opening remarks, we should be like Brazilians, Mr. Speaker. I had courtesy of this house when I was the chairman of JLAC in the other life. I did lead my delegation of Governor Senator James Orengo, Governor Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., former Senator of Kisumu, Fred Outa. There were a number of us. We did visit, Mr. Speaker, and a team of defense and foreign relations then. And we learned one thing in Brazil, Mr. Speaker. Apart from the other beautiful things in Brazil, apart from the wonderful weather, good food, Mr. Speaker, wonderful people, of course. I don't want to go into details because I might be called out of order. We learn, Mr. Speaker, I don't know why, for the first time, Senator Crystal Asike is shouting across the aisle. Mr. Speaker, we learn one ingredient with the Brazilians, or consulting across the aisle. Mr. Speaker, we learn one of the ingredient thing with Brazilians. Brazilians, Mr. Speaker, do their own thing, Mr. Speaker, with one heart. But out of curiosity, in the many meetings, Mr. Speaker, because we had gone to investigate the issue of Brumadinho collapse in state of Minas Gerais, in one of the states in Brazil, and even went to other states like Rio de Janeiro, among other states, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you are smiling shyly. I don't know whether you have been in Brazil and you know those places. So we visited, Mr. Speaker, a number of places, and we learned one of the things, Mr. Speaker, that in their meetings there is no water like this. Their meetings is only coffee. I want to propose in this country, is there a way when we go to our meetings, our engagements, a sufuria, not a sufuria, a flask of tea? And I know, Mr. Speaker, after this, I might, Mr. Speaker, after this, because every meeting we need to go, including our committees, there should be a way of having a cup of tea, a flask of tea, a biriga of tea, Mr. Speaker, in every meeting, Mr. Speaker. And I know, after saying this, I'll be very popular in Western Kenya. And I know the people will read my popularity, Senator Boni Khalwale, Mr. Speaker. Because at least them, after every, they must take tea. After every, they give tea, after eating, Mr. Speaker, and many others, Mr. Speaker. So I think in our culture, we should encourage tea taking. And I heard, Mr. Speaker, Senator, we have given us our beautiful Senator, Senator Gloria Oruoba, one of the fiery senators, said something about aluta. Mr. Speaker, the only way to finish drinking of alcohol in this country is to encourage people to take tea. If there is an option of drinking, let them drink tea. And that's the only way we can fight aluta, which is common in this city and other cities, where young people go to clubs from Friday and come out on Monday morning, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the only way to finish aluta in the city, I know there was a statement by Senator Nyamu, was talking about aluta, where young people from tomorrow disappear in quotes up to Monday. They should be encouraged to take tea.